Okay, in this video we are going to go through another type of phrase. That is, we have already seen the gerund and participle phrases, and now we're going to be dealing with an infinitive phrase. And if you know your infinitives, it should come as no surprise that an infinitive phrase is made up of the infinitive form of the verb, which is to plus the verb. Now we have a lesson on infinitive verbs, so go back to that if you're unsure. Now on to the phrase itself. It can function as a noun, adjective, or adverb. And you can see that the infinitive phrase is a lot more versatile than either the gerund or the participle phrase. Remember, the gerund phrase functions as a noun, the participle phrase functions as an adjective, and the infinitive phrase, well, it can function as all three. Let's have a look. To finish first in a marathon is Jerry's lifelong goal. So we begin the sentence with our infinitive phrase. There's infinitive verb. Here's the phrase. And what is Jerry's lifelong goal? The subject. So you can see that this is very similar to a gerund phrase. However, we begin again with the infinitive form of the verb, and hence it is an infinitive phrase. Now, why not use finishing first in a marathon? Why use the infinitive form versus the gerund form? And there isn't necessarily a perfect answer to that, and it's an area where non-native speakers, that is people whose first language is not English, it's an area where they struggle. But there is a ground rule, and the ground rule in general is if you want to talk about a goal or a process, how to do something, or why you're doing something in order to do, then we like the infinitive. In this case with Jerry, finishing first in a marathon is Jerry's lifelong goal. That's fine as well. And so this is an example where either one will work. However, if you're not describing a process or the ground rules and you're describing something as it's happening, you should definitely use the gerund phrase, which in general is more versatile. But remember, versatility within the sentence itself, infinitive phrases are number one because they can be a noun as they are here, an adjective, or an adverb. Let's take a look at B. To satisfy his longing for travel. Well, who is satisfying the longing for travel? Jerry. So you can see that this functions here as a participle phrase. However, remember, when you have to satisfy there, it is an infinitive. So it is an infinitive phrase, but it's functioning as an adjective, the way that a participle phrase would do. Now, remember I talked a second ago about the difference between the gerund and the infinitive. Sometimes it doesn't matter. What if I said satisfying here? In this case, satisfying his longing for travel. Jerry has booked an around-the-world ticket. Does that make sense? So imagine Jerry satisfying his longing for travel. He is out on the savannah. He's looking at the elephants roaming by. That is satisfying his longing for travel. However, he's not even there yet. He simply just booked a ticket. And so to satisfy something that's about to happen, a goal, to finish, a goal, something in the future, that is when we use the infinitive. Otherwise, it can give rise to confusion that, oh, all Jerry did was buy a ticket. Now he's satisfied his longing for travel. He doesn't even have to go. He's going to flush the ticket down the toilet because, hey, he bought the ticket. No, of course not. That's not what we're saying. We're saying that he's trying to satisfy his longing for travel. Therefore, he's booked the ticket. He'll get to Africa, see the elephants, and only then will he be satisfied. Okay, let's take a look here at some other examples of our infinitive phrase. Mike is learning grammar to become a better writer. Very noble goal. So he's learning grammar in order to do something. Why is he learning, or how's he learning it? So we can see that this phrase, infinitive phrase, functions as an adverb. Going on to D, one way to become a better writer is to improve at grammar. Again, there's our infinitive phrase, and it's describing one way, so it works as an adjective. Those are two pretty straightforward examples. So let's get something here that's a little tougher. And in general, if you're already at this level, that is if you are at the infinitive phrase or phrases and in this module, that means you know your grammar pretty well. That is, you've gone through all the lesson videos, you've worked up to here, or you've just already come with a decent knowledge to, or even advanced knowledge of grammar, and you're either trying to brush up or learn some new stuff. So it's really important to get to this complex level because it's oftentimes easy to understand a grammatical principle when a sentence is simple. But when sentences become complex, long, as these sentences are, it's harder to spot certain things. And so what I've done here is I've created two sentences, one that is incorrect, one that is correct. However, the one that is incorrect is not necessarily incorrect grammatically. Let's have a look. E. To become a writer able to understand the nuances of language and to use sophisticated vocabulary is Mike's goal. Perfectly fine grammatically. You have this infinitive phrase, to become a writer, and he goes on to here, and to use sophisticated vocabulary is Mike's goal. However, you have both of these, you have the parallelism, but this is not stylistically pleasant because you have such a long subject. Such a long subject here that you get to the very end and then you go, oh, da 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 is Mike's goal. So we can write the sentence in a variety of ways. And to really apply this grammar, you want to write a lot and you want to have the idea or the conception that there's never really a perfect way of writing a sentence, but there's many different ways, and some ways are better than others. And so this way is just not that great because it's such a long subject. Getting to the very end, we barely have any sentence. So let's take a look at F. Mike's goal is to become a better writer, one who uses sophisticated vocabulary and understands the nuances of language. So that flows a lot better. And what is the sentence done grammatically to make it flow better? It says Mike's goal is to become a better writer. So there's the subject, followed here by this thing. What is his goal? So we can see that the infinitive phrase is functioning as a noun. And then we expand on this. What become a better writer? What does that mean? Well, a writer, that's what the one stands for, one who uses sophisticated vocabulary and understands nuances of language. So again, the takeaway from this is you can apply grammar, but when sentences become longer, other problems arise. So know that you can use different types of phrases. You can organize a sentence differently in order to achieve a sentence that flows the best. Of course, that takes a lot of practice, but by watching these grammar videos, you're taking the first step.